Buongiorno, good morning to everybody. We are Happy Sustainable Family. This is our second video. We created this channel to share our daily life stories and our stories of travelings with family and with kids. This video is about the cost of our RV camper holiday. We have done a video about that. Check it out if you haven't seen it, about our first camper holidays in 4. We have 2 little kids, Sophie and Joy, of 2 and 5 years. It was an amazing holiday, but now the question, how much did it cost? Was it really an affordable holiday? So for us, it was not the main holiday. And as I mentioned already in the main video, we were lucky because the RV, a very good friend of us, gave it for free to us, and he lent it to us because he had it there free, and it's a very good friend, and it's a bit the Italian economy. You get a favor, we will give him back a big favor. So it was amazing. So we saved quite some cost. But let's go to the costs, to the real cost that we would have had if we were going to rent it or buy it, because as we love this holiday, it will be not the last time that we go in a camper to a holiday like that. How much does it cost for 2 weeks? So actually, I would suggest, I start already telling you something that we did a bit wrong. I would suggest 3 weeks if it's possible, because the kids need a bit of time to get used to the camper, to the RV life. But okay, we had these 2 weeks. We will do, as I mentioned before, a bigger holiday in the autumn period that we will share also here on the channel. So what are the costs? The biggest cost, of course, is either the renting or the buying of an RV. Yes, also the buying is a cost because you have the amortization. Many people do not consider that. You have the amortization, you have the parking fee, because in your city you have to park it somewhere, your camper van. Either you have a very big parking spot in your house, otherwise you need to rent a place where you can park it. You can plug it into the electricity and you can leave it there. So for the rest of the time that you're not using it. And that is also cost. It costs around 50 till 200 euro per month. Then you have the full casco insurance. You have the various damages that the camper RV has in the times. And so even buying it is a very big cost. So I actually even do not suggest to buy it if you're not going to use it a lot. So like in our case, we know that we want to do also longer holidays. So going also more far away, it's not the moment for buying an RV camper. Also a very good solution, I think, for who really likes this kind of holidays is taking maybe a smaller car, like a California car, or a bigger camper van. So in that case, you can use it maybe as your main car and do also trips. So the amortization is not that bad. They do not lose too much value in the years. So I would suggest it's not very bad in that case. But a camper, really, you can just use it for doing holidays like this. So it costs quite a lot. Renting it out in high season, we checked out the prices before departing. It's around, at least for a very convenient and bad solution, so a small one, is around 100 euro. For a bigger one like we had and a very accessorized and good, it's around 200, even 250. So it's not cheap for considering 14 days. So I took an average of 2,500 euro. You will spend that with good insurance, and it's a medium spending. You can spend also less if you take a smaller one and less accessorized one. But I would do in the budget around 2,500 for renting it. Even also, if you buy it, the cost is more or less that of the amortization, because buying will cost around 30,000-40,000 if it's a second or third hand camper, until 150k if it's a new one. So you can consider that, plus adding all the expenses that I mentioned before. 2,500 the rent. Next biggest cost, in my opinion, was the gasoline. We did around 3,500 kilometers. The consumption is around 11-12 liters for 100 kilometers. It's quite expensive. Nowadays, the gasoline prices, especially on the highways in high season, it's around €2. So we have spent for this €920 of gasoline. It's a lot more than if you go by car. Of course, the RV is bigger, it consumes more, it takes more fuel. It's a big expense. You will have to put it on your account when you do the financial of the trip. Next was a bit unexpected high cost. I really didn't expect to spend so much on highways. Highways in Italy are expensive, but highways in France are crazy expensive. So we really spent a lot. We did quite a long part in France because we crossed France like this, and highways are super expensive. I think for doing from north to south to Italy, you will spend for a return ticket in the highway around 150. In France, it will be times 3. It's incredibly expensive. We spent for our trip around €580 for highways. So it's a very high cost. I didn't think before going to this trip. Another big expense is the food. But on the other hand, I always say, if you are based in your city, you will also have to eat. Maybe you have your kids in the schools or kindergarten where they provide for the food. But most of the time you will spend in the food also at home. So of course, in the holiday, we went in Monaco for my birthday. We went to a very fancy dinner. We spent quite a lot, €150, which for Monaco standard was not even so much. We went sometimes to have a lunch out. We went sometimes for dinner. I have to say, in this we could have spent even much more, because many people do not like to cook so much in the camper, in the RV, and they prefer going to dine out. We didn't so much. We went around 3 times. We had always the breakfast there. We spoiled ourselves with many nice lunches or nice dinners and breakfasts. So we bought quite some good food in the supermarkets, especially biological if we found. We spent €800 for food in these 2 weeks, which for the going out, considering also my birthday dinner and everything, I think it's quite an okay expenditure. Another little expenditure we have with the kids, you always have it, but also for yourself, we rented the surf boats many days, which was quite convenient in San Sebastian and in Biarritz. We had some games that the kids want to do, the carousel and this and that, and little games and little toys that you have to get. We spent here €80, so quite affordable. Another expenditure we had, but probably all the times you have when you're going to holiday, was clothing. We know it because we are running ourselves in this it's a very touristic area where we live. It's Bolzano, it's the heart of the Dolomites. We have here sustainable fashion stores, and we see that tourists are very relaxed in holiday, and our business proposition of having sustainable clothing and sustainable lifestyle articles is very nice for them. They're easy, they have a good mood, they have maybe some spending power, and this is the ideal moment for buying. In our case, it was more an exotic buying, because Sarah is always cold when she goes to swim in the ocean, especially. So she wanted to buy a swimsuit, which was a very good buying for her, because like this, she could really go to swim even, or go to surf more easily. And we bought her swimsuit, and we bought 2 very nice surfing towels in organic cotton. So we had some spending, and for Sophie there was a skateboard in offer, and we thought, okay, we're going to buy that as well. So we spent €250. But I would always put something in this category in the budget, because at the end, in the holiday, you have the time to think also, okay, the school will start soon, this is an exotic thing, or these touristic areas usually have very nice shops that you do not have in your cities, or you have to buy them online. So you're there, and if you have space, that's also because you're not by plane, buying it like this, it's I think a super point, and I would always put a budget for this in the expenditures. So €250 for this, a total of €5,130. That was the total expenses that we had. So I expected a little bit less, little bit less, to be honest, because at the end, if you make a calculation for 2 weeks, our showers, also because we were unlucky not to have never a camping, so that's another big expenditure point. I have put it in our points of food, of highways in the 580 euro, because we didn't have a camping. We were always in free camping. We were outside all the times. We spent 5 euro for the parking in the night, or 10 euro maximal. So in the 580, I think 80 euro or 70 are for parking especially. And this was a saving, I have to say, because I expected at least 5-6 nights to be in a camping, so to have 300 euro more, because the cost of a camping is around 50 euro per night, times 6, it's around 300 euro. So that you should add, because I think going to camping with the kids a few days at least is not bad, instead of staying only with the parking. We didn't have the possibilities, they were all fully booked. And as I mentioned in the video before, a trip like this is nice because you are free. I didn't want to organize before day 1 we're there, day 2 we're there. In fact, in a very remote parking next to San Sebastian, we found a very nice group of kids, and we had the time of our life, even if it was only a parking full of asphalt, and even the showers were not good. But consider, even so, the budget should be even higher, because you should add some days of the camping. It is not a cheap holiday, around 5,000 till 6,000. If you are very on a budget way, you can go a bit down to 3,000-4,000, depending on the camper, if you can have it for good conditions. But 5,500, it's not a bad. Consider we took the showers with water tanks because our water pump was broken, so we basically had our showers with water tank or on the beach. You are there with 1,000 people on the parking spots. These parking spots are never very spectacular with views or whatever. We loved it. We loved it anyways. For me, it was an incredible, nice trip. But still, it's not a cheap trip, because I made a comparison to go 14 days in a 3 or 4 star half-board hotel. In a family, you could pay it around 300 euro in this high season. You will pay more or less the same, because the hotel in this case with half-board would be around 4,200 euro, plus the other expenses, which are of course lower because you spend much less going by car, or even with a cheap airline or whatever to go somewhere there. So the trip by camper is not a cheap trip, in my opinion. It's a unique experience. We will definitely do it again, but do not expect to pay much less than going by other. It's more the experience. You pay for the experience, and with the kids it was simply amazing. It was a challenging trip on sometimes, because of course you do a lot of kilometers. I departed, as you could hear in my previous video, I departed quite early many times, but I would recommend it. Plan this in the budget. If you like this video, follow us. We will put more of this kind of content of family in our videos, and follow us on Happy Sustainable Family. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.